Welcome to this episode where I'm going to be answering a question. It's the Courageous Self Care Experience. And welcome. So, last time I talked about some different breathing patterns, being a breathwork facilitator and coach, among other things. I am always blown away, I guess, pun intended, by how powerful the breath is. And then I got a question last time after that episode about how do you remember to take deep breaths? Like, we get it, breathing is important. And how do we remember to do it when we're in the throes of a major experience? I would love to share with you how to do that. There are two ways to answer that question. So, the first way that I would love to answer it is there are four series of experiences as humans, and it's how we bring things from the unknown into a regular practice. So, the first part is called conscious incompetence. When we are consciously incompetent, we wouldn't even know that taking a breath in a stressful situation would be helpful. We would just proceed as normal and it wouldn't even occur to us because we don't know. So, conscious incompetence is where we live before we know what to do, before we know a tool or a strategy. The next part of it is when we become consciously incompetent. And so now we know that we're incompetent. We know there's a better solution, but we don't have the skill set or the neural pathways or the awareness to implement it yet. So conscious incompetence can be more painful because we know that there's a way to make it better, but we're not quite putting two and two together. And so it's kind of worse than not knowing because you have an awareness that, oh, right, there's something I could do. Or after the event happens, then you realize, oh, I could have done that. I should have done that. So conscious incompetence is uncomfortable, but it's an important step in the process. Next, we have conscious competence. So, this is where we are working at it. We are aware of the tools, we're aware of the strategies. Sometimes we remember, sometimes we don't. And we're developing the habit, the new patterns, the new beliefs, the new ways to show up that are helpful. So it's feeling a little better than being consciously incompetent. No one likes to know that they're incompetent, right? So as we move into conscious competence, we are feeling like we have a little more power that is emanating through us and the wherewithal to put it into action. Then the last part of it is unconscious competence. And this one is the opposite of where we start because it's become a way of being. We have enough neural pathways, enough myelin that's woven around the neural pathways. It's a white rubbery substance in the brain that is an indication of how many times we have used a neural pathway. So that myelin wraps around a neural pathway over and over and over, and the thickness of the myelin indicates how many times we've done it. So when we have really thick myelination, then we are unconsciously competent and we don't have to work hard. We don't have to remind ourselves. We don't have to have visual cues or reminders because it has become part of who we are and we just show up that way. So, how that's background information. How do we actually make it happen? So to answer the question from last time's live that came in, the question was how do we remember to take a deep breath in stressful situations? So, the other thing that I always like to share with my clients that is very reassuring is that we go through something similar to those phases, but let's make it practical. So, initially, we learn something, we learn a tool or a strategy, and we want to bring it into our lives. So there's a call, a desire for, yes, I want to do this. This sounds good. So then we might set up, like, let's just say I taught central channel breathing last time. We might set up some times to do that so that we're making that happen. And in order to make it happen, visual reminders are very important or cues. So, like when I teach central channel breathing, I say a great place to start is always to do 3 central channel breaths before you get out of bed, 3 central channel breaths before you go to sleep. So you're bookending your day in central channel breathing. How are you going to remember to do that? Well, maybe you put a post-it note beside your bed, or maybe when your alarm goes off, there's a reminder on your screen, central channel breathe 3 times. So we make it happen by being conscious about it and giving ourselves those cues, especially visual cues. Or maybe you're going to central channel breathe after lunch. So you would set a reminder on your phone. So we want to have a specific time set up. That way, at least it's in our awareness. We're starting new neural pathways. We're starting the habit of getting into it. Then what happens is over time, we practice that and it will get closer and closer and closer to the event itself. So another thing uh, well, not another thing. So we get closer and closer and closer. So what might happen is there's a stressful situation, and then you go to bed that night and you see your visual reminder, oh, central channel breathing. Ah, I could have done that in the moment. Why didn't I think of that? Because you have conscious incompetence. It's okay. You don't have to beat yourself up for it. You're on this continuum and you're learning. So you do it as soon as you remember. And maybe it's the incident happens at 11 a.m. You remember to do your central channel breathing before you go to bed. Ta-da, you've done it. Then let's say another day, a stressful situation happens at 11 a.m. And maybe mid-afternoon, you remember, oh, I could have done central channel breathing then. So you do it now. As soon as you have the awareness, you do it in that moment because that is your inner guidance coming through. It's your awareness, it's your consciousness. And the sooner you act on it, the better, because then you'll get more and more cues, not from the visual outer world reminders, but from your inner cues. And the sooner you act on your inner guidance, the more you will have. So gradually it will come closer and closer and closer together. Maybe a stressful event happens another day at 11 a.m. And at lunch, at noon, you remember, oh, right, central channel breathing. I'm doing it now. And then what will happen over time as you move into the unconscious competence, you will remember in the moment. So that has been exactly my journey. And the key is to be gentle with yourself. If you forget and you don't remember until you get to your visual cue or a few hours later, no problem. You just understand, oh, I'm moving through this continuum. And then one day you will be in the throes of a big emotion and you will remember, oh, I could central channel breathe right now. And because you've practiced acting on that inner guidance, you'll be able to remember it in the moment and it will have the biggest impact because taking a deep breath is always the solution. No matter how you're feeling or what's happening, when you get yourself to take any kind of conscious breath, whether it's central channel breathing, which you can watch in the last live if you'd like to learn how to do that, or even just breathing through the nose into the belly, stretching it open, and then exhale through the nose, press the belly button towards the spine. In fact, let's just do that right now. Since we're here and I'm talking about practicing and making new patterns, let's just take a couple of nice full breaths. So through the nose, inhale. Make your belly nice and big like a beach ball. Now exhale through the nose, press your belly button towards your spine. Make it slow and sustained exhale. If you like, you can close your eyes to get even more benefit. Inhale again. Belly is big like a beach ball. Now exhale through the nose, press your belly button towards the spine. And once more. Inhale fully through the nose. Let it fill up the belly. Exhale through the nose, press the belly button towards the spine. Okay, and notice how you feel. So, the more you act on that as soon as you remember, the more it will come right into the exact moment. And you'll notice as you go through these phases from unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence to conscious competence. That's the one where things are working, we're remembering. Sometimes we remember a few hours later, sometimes we remember a few weeks later, depending on how big the situation is. But we're getting closer and closer and closer to that ultimate destination of unconscious incompetence where you just remember in the moment. And it is such a gift to go through those phases and to be persistent and diligent and devoted to it because when you remember in the moment, number one, it feels like a huge victory because you're not just at the mercy of a roller coaster ride of emotions. There's a part of you that's greater than that. And it's observing and saying, reminding you, you could do something different. You don't have to suffer here. And you remember in the moment. So it's a victory. And then you do it. And it just changes everything. So that is what I wanted to share with you today. If you have any questions about that, please let me know whether you're here live or listening to the recording. I love answering questions. And if you have a question that is not related to what we talked about today, but any question you would ever have in life, I have an answer for. I have a solution. So, whether it's a relationship issue, an energy issue, a health issue, a money issue, a career issue, I've coached on all these areas and I have a multitude of certifications that have led me to know exactly what to offer for whatever's going on. So, I just love, love, love questions and so happy to answer them. All right. That is what I wanted to share with you today. So thank you so much for tuning in and sticking around. I am Christina Marlett, the creator of Courageous Self Care and The Balm, the Body Awareness Life Makeover, where we put into practice what I teach so that life becomes it becomes like lots of people experience life like they're flying a plane, but they're on the wing of a plane. It's terrifying and they're afraid of falling and it's windy and it's just chaotic. But what I love to teach helps bring you into the cockpit of the plane where you get to co pilot with the divine, with spirit, with creator. And it's calm and there's no crash landings. So we put into practice exactly how to do that so that you do get to unconscious competence in as many areas of your life as possible. All right. Thank you so much for being here. I'm sending you lots of love and many blessings, and I look forward to our next time. Bye for now.